Welcome back to Begborough Steel, where it's the start of a new season. In fact, everything's new. Our promotion means that we can afford a new apartment. We've got new kits for the new season. We've got new staff. We've got new signings. We've even got a new stadium. The only thing that's not new is our outlook about how things are going to go at this higher level. We'll be sacked by Christmas. So it's the first day of the new season, our first of the third tier of Spanish football. We are up against a team from Murcia, not Real Murcia, but another club from the same area. And if we have a look at how we're predicted to finish this campaign, the media have got us predicted to finish 14th, lower mid-table. At least we're nowhere near the bottom. However, having won the title last year so comfortably, I have aspirations of pushing towards those playoff positions. Let's show you some other bits of new information. We're renting a new stadium for this season with a bigger capacity. Hopefully that means our attendances might be higher and we might bring some extra revenue in, because we're the best part of £1 million in debt now. We're not operating anywhere near to our wage budget, even though we've brought in a fair few new players for the new campaign, although we missed out on some of our most exciting targets. Okay, let's take you through the comings and goings then. The major departure is in goal. Sergio has left the club to join Interdux, which I think is the club part-owned by Thibaut Courtois. We've also got Borja Domingo, who spent all summer on the transfer list because he was so unhappy that he wasn't being allowed to play as a pressing forward. Nobody's come in for him. I think he'll settle down eventually, but he might not be our starting striker anymore. We're going to stick with the 4-4-2. Our new goalie is going to be Nelson. He's experienced, he's 32. I think he's going to be a good organiser and a calm head back there. He's got good leadership. Pretty much all round his goalkeeping attributes are pretty healthy. Granted, he's not getting any younger. We missed out on 2 goalkeepers, one of which who would have been superb. We could have signed him if we were prepared to pay him £5,000 a week. That's a quarter of our wage budget, so we didn't go anywhere near that. Who else is new? Well, we're going to be keeping much of the same back four. Guti, Jimenez, Smitarella and Ambrose Soler, but we brought in another backup defender in Jake O'Brien. You can see he started to life perfectly, training like an absolute machine with all of those downward arrows. He comes in from, I think it was Reading, it was Crystal Palace that he joined from on a free transfer. He can cover in at centre-back, move over to right-back in an emergency. In midfield, we're going to keep Geordie, we're going to keep Lander, although we have brought in some more backups. Over on the left, we've brought in Rodrigo Insua, who can cover for Guti at left-back, can cover for Geordie over on the left wing. He's not stunning, but he's solid. And again, it's an area where we missed out on players. In central midfield, we looked to strengthen. We brought in Sergio Carrasco. He's only 5'6", picked up an injury in pre-season that's going to keep him out potentially for the next month or so. Again, another pretty sturdy option, maybe a slightly better player, might be Mickey, who I've got high hopes for. Only 24 years old, has got good DNA attributes in the teamwork and the work rate, the determination and the bravery. Physicals all look pretty handy. In the centre of midfield against standards of opposition that are going to be a step up from last season, I've got high hopes for Mickey. He's going to be playing alongside Nana today because of the injuries that we've suffered. Nana is now on a week-by-week contract. He could leave at any time. He wants £1,500 a week to renew. I'm not sure she's worth it. Let's head up front where we're going to place a no-go today. We've still got Vargas on the bench as well as Domingo. But when Domingo asked for a transfer, we went out there and signed a new striker. And Kevin Carlos might be the pick of our business in the summer. Physically, I think he's going to be pretty decent at this level. Mentally, I think he's pretty strong as well. Technically, well, he's a little bit lacking, but the finishing and the first touch and the passing are still at least 10. The off the ball's good. I think coupled with that acceleration, I think he could be a goal scorer for us this season. He wants to play as a pressing forward, so we're going to give him that wish today. And when Borja comes off the bench, well, he can play in the same role. Hopefully, that might appease him. We've got 12 substitutes for this season. We've got a lot of youngsters on the bench. Before we head out there and play our first game of the season, let's just show you the changes we've made behind the scenes as well. Behind the scenes, we've got plenty of new staff members as well. The one constant is we've got Scott Thomas still as our assistant manager, but due to complications with his Spanish passport, we've had to switch him over to an English passport, and it's helped a lot of his attributes as well because he's far better on the training ground now and has aged considerably as well. Other than that, we've brought in plenty of new players. The one who I'm quite interested to see how he gets on is Nano, a professional head of youth development. We've upgraded from a semi-professional one. The attributes are not stunning, but I'm hoping that that personality might convert into us getting some more professional youth players coming through the ranks. So we've upgraded behind the scenes as well. I'm not sure whether we've upgraded on the pitch, but we've certainly bolstered our numbers. Let's go out and see how we do on the first day of the season, this new level. Here we go. So season 3 of Begborough Steel is underway. This is a home game for us. You can see we have moved to a new stadium. Most of it seems to be missing. But we've got a kick-off highlight. We've sent the ball into the box. And I tell you what, Kevin Carlos, I think that must be his first touch in a Europa shirt. And he's headed us into an early lead. A deep in-swinging cross. He's just drifted. That's his off-the-ball movement in effect there, I think. And he's nodded one past the keeper, and that's a tidy little start for us. I was a little bit perplexed at the gaps in our new stadium, but apparently this is an upgrade, and the boys have settled into their new surroundings pretty well. We've had a good pre-season, by the way. We only squeezed in 5 or 6 pre-season friendlies, but we won them all. And we played a couple of teams that are going to be against us at this level, and we didn't concede a goal during pre-season either. So that was quite encouraging. I would love to push into those playoff positions this season. I know that the fact that we can't spend any money on transfers is going to mean that the second tier of Spanish football is going to be almightily tough to get out of. But I think we can get out of the third tier relying on free transfers. Let's go and tell the boys they've had a decent first half there. Get back out there and see if we can seal an opening day victory. Okay, we're back underway for the second half. We're keeping an eye on performances, by the way. Yaya Sonogo is not playing that well. He's on a 6.6, and we have got options on the bench. And I think at 65 minutes, we might even call on those options. In fact, I think it's time to pull the trigger. We're also going to put a little shout out that we're going to demand more. And I think it's time to see whether Borja is sulking or whether he can put in a performance for us. Okay, Borja is on. We've also made a change in central midfield. We've taken Mickey off. Not a great debut for Mickey. And we've brought on Valero, one of our players from last season. Mickey's got one last act, I think, though, before he leaves the pitch. He's got the ball through. We've got it with Guti. Is this going to be a second goal? It is. Zoolander's in at the far post. And before those subs take effect, we've stretched our lead to 2-0. That was nicely worked as well. Guti with a fullback on attack duty. He was raiding down that left. Kevin Carlos involved again. Geordie turns it round the corner. That's a great ball over. The Zoolander is not going to miss those. And now going into the substitutions, we are 2-0 in the lead. We will keep those subs. And I think, we might even play one of our youngsters for the last 15 minutes. We'll see whether we're still 2-0 in the lead when we get there. We're on the ball. Nana could be drinking in last chance saloon, old Nana. But we weren't able to strengthen quite as well as we would have liked, There was plenty of targets who would have been breathtaking at this level, who all agreed contracts. But then at the last minute, a slightly bigger club would come in and swoop, pay them a little bit more money, and steal them from us. We could have been a really strong team if we'd have got all of the targets I identified. But lots of them chose to go elsewhere. I think we've scored a carbon copy. This time it's Geordie that gets to the flank. He's pulled another low crosser along the 6-yard box. And Zoolander decides to slide in this time. One for the cameras, but a carbon copy of the second goal. And I tell you what, this is a very encouraging start to the season. It means we're going to bring on one of our youngsters for a debut for the club. I think the man, or the boy in this case for the occasion, might be Carlos. We're not keen on his personality. But otherwise, I think this boy has got talent. I love that bravery for a central midfielder. Maybe it's time for Nana to have a rest. And we'll let Carlos stroll around for the last 15 minutes as a 16-year-old debutant. We've had 14 shots, 7 on target. We've turned on for this season, by the way. Work ball into the box, and we've dropped the tempo further to see if we can try and improve our goals to shots ratio and not be quite so wasteful at this level. We probably won't get as many chances at this level, but we'll see whether we can try and create some better chances. And I think both of the goals that Zoolander scored were pretty high percentage chances. And maybe we weren't seeing many of those goals last season. So maybe the changes have taken effect already. One thing that's also taken effect is having a goalkeeper with wrists that aren't made out of chocolate. Nelson actually manages to make a save, whereas last season any shot on target would have found the back of the net. They're 3-0 down, but they're certainly battling now, aren't they? And Guti, I think, picked up a booking or worse with a foul on the edge of the box. This should only be a booking, I think, shouldn't it? Ref's taking his time with it, though. Okay, it is a booking, but they are into a free kick, and they've curled one over. It's a poor effort, and we are racing our way towards full time. The XG's almost 2. We've got 5 minutes left. Valero, Domingo. We're not friends, Borgia and I. His antics in the summer I thought were pretty unnecessary. He's throwing an almighty sulk, all because he was playing in the position that he wanted, but not the role. He wanted to press harder than I was making him. Well, if you're going to get upset about that, I will sign somebody better. But here he is, and he's got it through. Is that offside? Don't think it is. Jordi, by the way, I'm not sure he's cut out for this level, but we could not sign a left winger that was better. We've got Insua that's going to provide cover. We've got Zoolander that could go out there. But I think he's going to be as good as we can muster, at least until the January window. And as Domingo fluffs his line, Jordi is on hand, and we're 4-0 up on the opening day of the season. And I'm going to mark this down as a pretty decent little victory. We're not even at 90 minutes yet, so this is a proper highlight. And it's going to be one for them as they've got the ball through. I wanted to keep a clean sheet, but Nelson's gone down early. The Admiral was beaten on that occasion. He's picking the ball out of the net. They're running to take it back to the halfway line. If they score 3 goals in injury time, well, goodness me, I think this save is over. I'm not sure there's a lot Nelson could have done about that. I don't think we're blaming him. He's certainly angry at his defence for that. He's thrashing the old arms, and I think that should see us through to full time. We've got about 20 seconds left. This should be the end of the game. We've got Carlos. It's our first little look at him. I think old Kevin's played pretty well up front. The other Carlos. In fact, Kevin Carlos has got up right in the last seconds of the game and fired another header wide. He's pretty quick, Kevin Carlos, but I think he's another 6-foot pluser. So he might be dangerous in the air. Here's Domingo. Could be a player for the bench this season, Domingo, unless he changes his attitude. And there is the end of the game, an opening day victory at this new level. 4-1, and we look pretty impressive in the process. We're going to tell the boys that they should be pretty proud of that. And look at that, a game played. We've got the best scoreline on day 1. Of course, it can all come crashing down from here, and knowing my history, it probably will. But it's now time for us to head offline, get a good chunk of the season done, and it'll be interesting to see where we are when you return to Begborough Steel.